I will call on Daniel Carlson. You can do the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
You're smart. Yeah, it is. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Okay. I'm sorry I'm not there in person with you tonight, but you're probably not sorry that I am in person with you tonight. Um, I've been ill for the last couple of days, and I wouldn't want to pass it on to anybody. So I don't have much to say tonight, except that to congratulate the three new members of our Board of Education, Daniela Cavalli and Amanda Lincoln and Rick Maderos. Welcome aboard. We will hold a special orientation meeting on November 17th to review the duties of the board members and how the Thompson Board of Education operates. For new board members, it is mandatory that you attend. But for existing board members, I encourage you to attend as it will be a good refresher course. Melinda, did you hear back from Steve Sador on whether it's going to be a split meeting?
Not yet. I'll find out tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Do we know the time of that?
Because I'd like to get the agenda put together as soon as possible. I now open up the floor to citizens' comments. Please state your name and your address for the records. Any citizens' comments? I can't see the citizens from here, so
There's nobody on the floor and nobody on Zoom, Kathleen.
pardon me?
There's nobody on floor or nobody on Zoom with comments.
Okay. Anybody on Zoom? And I can't see the board. You'll have to let me know. I'm sorry, it doesn't. Anybody on Zoom?
No.
Okay, then we'll move on to the student liaison reports.
Good evening. I'm Madison Carlson, a Board of Ed liaison, here alongside Dylan Axtell. We are here to share the TMHS first quarter report. First, I'd like to start with TMHS upcoming events. On November 13th, we'll have the TMHS Winter Sports parent-player meeting. Following that, on the 14th, there's a TSLT in-service where there will be Olympics planning and the ornament auction for Thompson Senior Citizen Club Festival of Trees. We are looking forward to decorating our TMHS tree for the Thompson Senior Citizen Club Festival of Trees to showcase TMHS. On the 25th of November, we will also hold the TMHS Olympics. The TSLT will be holding its second annual TMHS Olympics, where students will compete in a wide range of events to earn gold, silver, and bronze medals for their class. Originally created to replace Powder Puff, this event has grown into a more inclusive and engaging tradition that brings together students from all groups to build positive school spirit. The whole school is looking forward to this fun event, which takes place on November 25th and leads into Thanksgiving break.
Some other highlights: the NHS raised over $3,000 for Teague during homelessness awareness, which took place on October 3rd, where they slept out on the track to raise awareness for homelessness. Students enjoyed Spirit Week leading up to homecoming on Friday, which was awesome. It was a great success with over 140 students, which is practically our whole school. Career Day was extremely successful. It was a day consisting of activities to expand students' knowledge and increase their probability of succeeding in the workforce by introducing them to mock interviews, job applications, and other skills that allow them to be financially stable while working. On October 27th, 35 students took place in FBLA's installation ceremony. I got installed as vice president, not to brag. Went pretty well. Some sports news, the Valley Panthers football team holds a record of 4-3. I believe they have two more games. They have one this Friday, I know, and one on Thanksgiving. So we're hoping them the best there. The girls soccer team finished their season with a record of 14-3-2, winning the ECC divisions and ECC Divisions 2 tournament, with our very own Sam Podgorny being named player of the game. They also completed in the first round of the CIAC soccer tournament, where they unfortunately faced a loss to East Lyme. Now, the girls soccer team 2-year agreement to merge with Killingly has ended, meaning they will return to Turtelot for the following season in 2026. The boys soccer team had a very hard fought season with 1 win, 13 losses, and 1 tie. Both the boys and girls cross country teams showed tremendous improvement this year, with many of our athletes achieving personal best this season during the ECC championship. The boys basketball and soccer teams, along with the boys and girls indoor track teams, will be starting their seasons very shortly. Student voice forums. Members of the student council report an overall positive experience at Turtelot. The student council is currently working with Mr. Mellon to find better ways to utilize our beautiful courtyard we have out in the nice sun. It would be nice for spring.
Additionally, we'd like to be here on behalf of the SSA to announce the Student Spotlight. Each quarter, TMHS Student Spotlight program recognizes a student who has demonstrated outstanding achievement, character, leadership, attitude, and/or contributions to the school and the community. Our first quarter Student Spotlight honoree is senior Isabella Stewart. 3 of Isabella's peers nominated Bella for this recognition. They all commented on the many ways she has helped TMHS community behind the scenes, and they all mentioned how she works to better TMHS with no expectation of recognition, even though she goes far above and beyond. Bella is an active member of the Turtelot Student Leadership Team, secretary for the senior class, and corresponding secretary for NHS. Bella also was a huge contributor to the scenery work of Annie. Bella is in the process of applying to colleges and universities where she will major in fine arts. And that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm just,
Kathleen, Danielle,
Yeah.
Carl.
yeah, I'm just gonna piggyback off of the Alumni Day. My daughter went, she represented NEC, the New England Center for Children, and she had a blast. So she just wanted to tell you kids, like, to let you know.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great. Okay, and we will move on to the approval of the minutes from our October 14th meeting. Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the minutes?
Yeah. Justin had 2. I think, so maybe I was confused. Item 9B is the approval of the proposal.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the approval of a proposal for us to do it, but not, I think there was some confusion about whether or not we were gonna send it to the Board of Selectmen to have them decide whether they were gonna do it or not.
That was
Right.
voted down, actually.
So it
Yeah.
was,
It was
so the motion was to send it to
the
the Board of
selection.
Selectmen, okay. And then my second note was just 9D. To approve that free school breakfast for all students for the recommendation of the food service director, right?
Mhm.
And it doesn't say free. In the motion. It says approve that school breakfast for all students per the recommendations of the food service director.
Yeah.
Those were my 2 notes.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, that's correct, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
Right,
correct.
all students get free breakfast, but they don't get free lunch.
That's right.
Word free was not in the sentence.
Justin's right.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Any other discussion? Hearing no other discussion, I'll put the The motion to the floor for a vote. All in favor of approving the minutes of October 14th, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and I vote aye. All, any opposition, say no. Any abstentions? The motion passes. Subcommittee updates. We had a policy, do we have a policy meeting?
No, communication.
Communication. I know we had that, but I wasn't sure about a policy between that. Okay, the communication committee, and I apologize for not being able to attend that one either. So-
We had it, yep, yeah, go ahead. We had a communication subcommittee meeting on Thursday, November 6th at 7 o'clock. We had a kind of a robust agenda. Old business included discussing high school tours with middle school parents and students and providing an update on that.
Mhm.
Continuing to simplify communication methods to parents and maximizing the use of the Power School tool, particularly amongst the elementary grades 1, 2, and 3 in particular. And then ongoing initiatives. We still have the Did You Know campaign, though it stalled a little bit, but we'll pick back up. We are going to be promoting the Turtle collaboration and community service projects that are coming up. There is a number of them that the students are working on. Incentive program is moving forward with giving incentives and gift cards to absenteeism and for those that have perfect attendance are put into a round win a card and other things. Sports promotions are still happening on our Facebook page as well as on the school Instagram, mostly weekly. Sports sponsorships, we are going to solicit digital advertising for our home high school basketball games. So that's forthcoming. So any businesses in the area that would like to participate, I believe they're $50. And they can reach out to Danielle in Superintendent Smith's office. Letter writing campaign is back up. Kristen has updated our kind of form letter, though we possibly might wait until January when the updated numbers come out. And then we can share that with the board as well as the public to solicit some noise in our area. Upcoming initiatives included reviewing the parent student staff survey that we have put out now last year. This will be the third year. The first was a very large version. Last year we put out a reduced revised version, and this will be putting out that same reduced revised version out to those 3 stakeholders. Leadership and local government roundtable that we've been doing for several years now is also happening this coming March 2026 with the high school leadership team. That information will be forthcoming as to the dates and the agenda. We talked about marketing the capstone process, since this is last year was our full year of having an entire class follow through with that. How we can market it, how we can get more community stakeholder participation. We talked about pathways at the high school and the exciting news about the vet assistant program, as well as early childhood education is in the works. Also, there's some talk that I know Melinda has on the agenda, I believe, for the adult education. So we'll talk about that later, but we talked a little bit about that at our meeting as well. In addition, we had some ideas that came up that we discussed. One was the idea of some kind of real estate flyer that could encourage families to move to Thompson, highlighting both the amenities and the importance and quality of life in Thompson, as well as in the school system. We talked about the new ways of potentially communicating with the community via our Instagram and our Facebook page, and whether that might be little video shorts or some kind of more engaging piece that we can kind of put on our socials. next meeting has not been set yet, but it will likely be in January. And that's it.
Okay, thank you. That was a lot to cram into that.
Yeah.
1 hour, we got it done.
Okay. Very good work, Heather. Thank you. And the rest of the committee. That you have a very robust committee. All right, we'll move on to the enrollment report. I'll turn it over to Superintendent Smith.
Good evening, everyone. We have no change in the total enrollment numbers. We're still holding steady at 774 students. There's been no change at Turtle Rock Memorial High School, where you have 166 students. We have one less student at the middle school for a total of 280, and one more student at Mary R. Fisher for a total of 327 students, giving us the grand total of 774 students. And then Danette did put together that breakdown for you so that you know, by grade level, who is at Quinnebog and Killingly and Ellis Tech. I thank her for that. And then the comings and goings of our students are listed on her monthly report.
Yep.
Any questions on enrollment? Justin?
So we've been asking this for a couple of months now, and I'm trying to do some math. What's our total fiscal responsibility number?
So that number, according to the Department of Ed, the number that the state works with is that 774. The fact that we are fiscally responsible for the students that go to Killingly are the numbers that are listed here. And that is the only school that we actually pay tuition to, in addition to the out-of-district placement students. So 22 at out-of-district, and we pay tuition for 21 at Killingly and 4 at Quinnebog.
Plus the transportation of 49, right?
With the transportation, yes, but we don't pay tuition to Alice. So the totals of each school are listed there.
So is there a way to put, like, even on there with the tuition, like transportation with the enrollment? Because that's where we're getting slammed on the internet.
I mean, I can tell you, it's
Yeah.
two buses, it's
Yeah.
$130,000.
Okay,
I mean,
That'll be Ellis Tech piece.
yeah.
it's
And
Ellis,
Killingly.
Killingly, we don't transport QMC.
Okay.
So I guess the only thing that I would say is for all of you board members, and I know we've talked about this, as we said, about what is the total financial responsibility to the taxpayer? Because you're gonna be questioned, why are we paying so much for 700 students? It's not the case. You have close to 900 students that you're fiscally responsible for. So when it comes budget time, you guys should be able to put numbers against that, whatever that transportation cost is, as you just said, 130, and whatever those outplacements are, call it out.
Well,
Talk the bill and get the number, put it out there.
And I think it's a twofold piece, right? We finally answered the question of how we're doing the tuition breakdown for the excess cost grant,
Mhm.
right? That's the 774, which sucks because it would be a lot better if we had the higher number, because then our cost per pupil would go down, but so I think this, personally, I think the way that the system is right now from the state level is built against us. And we just need to be able to articulate how and where those dollars go.
So Dr. Jones, later on, I'm sure Kathleen's going to call him because she asked him to be on Zoom this evening because she has some questions specifically around excess costs.
Okay.
So he's with us to answer those questions when we get there.
Can I ask a question? The fourth page, the last page of that, how you have on the bottom left, the little list of each school, and then the total, would it be possible to have 3 more little lines? One
Outsourced.
that says, like
Yeah.
QMC, ag, and then maybe our 5, Bradley school students. They're
Well,
in that
Bradley school
22.
students are included, not a district numbers, which is 22.
So yeah, the outsource number.
The out, it's part of that outsource number.
All right, well then,
So
yeah,
that's it,
then
you
add
can
that
track it.
in there too, then outplace or
So you want Killingly there?
anything that we're financially obligated. Just in this little running list, and then a grand total of the full tuition, transportation, we're on the horn for number.
Okay, I'll have Danette transpose some of those lines over here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there was discussion on the Facebook page that shall not be named. Where they are only taking this number, the 774, because there are residents who refuse to acknowledge that we are financially responsible for transporting kids to Ellis, that we do pay tuition to Killingly as well as pay transportation. And they ignore the fact that we also have 22 that we're paying tuition and transportation for that are being outplaced.
I mean, remember that this report is,
Right.
is an enrollment number report. It's not a dollar amount. So to
Right.
put a dollar amount there wouldn't make sense.
Right.
But
No.
the
Would be
extra
enrollment.
line,
Just to
Yeah,
have the
total.
total number.
Yeah, because that's what they're looking for. That's
Because our actual per pupil expenditure would be our total budget divided by, based on these numbers, 870, not our budget number divided by 774.
and that's what they're doing.
And that's
The
what
only
they're
time
doing.
I'm saying put numbers to it, dollar amounts when it comes budget. time.
yes,
Right.
Yeah.
That's all.
which we
Yeah.
do any,
Yes,
Yeah, we just need the enrollment amount to show.
so you want that box bigger and to add them.
yes. please.
That's easy.
How do we transport the kids to Killingly and to Ellis? Ellis, we go around town. How many buses do we
Two.
run to Ellis?
We run 2 buses for Killingly and Ellis.
Okay, so that's 30, you're saying it's $30,000 per bus?
No, it's about 130,000 for 2 buses.
$130,000 for 2 buses, so that's $260,000 in transportation?
No. It is 65,000 each bus, so it's about 130 for 2 buses.
Okay, I misunderstood you. We run 2 buses to Killingly and 2 buses to Ellis, or
No,
one
2
bus?
buses two buses total, students ride, depending on what side of town they're coming from, they're mixed on the bus. Ellis
Oh,
kids.
okay, mixed,
Killingly
okay,
kids
all
are
right.
mixed.
So one bus covers okay. 2 buses.
Two
total.
buses cover both schools.
Okay, I got it. So it's, okay.
It depends on what side of town they live on and what the route is.
Okay, I got it.
I'll do it for 110.
I don't think anyone would want that job. It's a tough one.
All right,
So-
but still, it's $130,000.
Correct.
Okay.
May I move on to the next item?
Yes, you may.
Okay, so this evening I invited all 3 principals. As you know, principals are not required to come to every meeting, but because this evening they are going over their school climate plans, I asked them to be here in person. They're not going to read the entire plan to you, but they each want to highlight certain aspects of their culture and climate plan. So I'm going to start with the high school. Principal Mellon, if you could come up to the microphone.
So I made copies. You're gonna have to share. We ran out of colored ink, so.
Yeah, we have it.
Yeah, I made a highlighted copy.
Oh.
Just so you guys can sort of stay with me. I'm very fancy. So we ran out of ink.
I don't need a colored one. I don't need a.
Thank you.
It's nice to meet you in person.
Let's see.
All right, so as you all know, well, those of you that don't know me, I'm TJ Mellon, principal of Port Lafayette Memorial High School. Good evening, everybody. Great job, students, as always. Even you, Dylan. Just kidding, buddy, you did a great job. So one of the things, a big thing for the high school this year, for those of you that don't know that, is our NEASC accreditation visit, which will be in March. So we're putting a lot of effort, energy, and time into that over the last couple of years, and now it's really starting to pick up steam. The good thing is a lot of the culture and climate plan fits directly with what we need to do, for our NEAS accreditation. So a couple highlights, things that we're proud of, things that seem to be working very well. So goals to support students, using data in the classroom, both PSAT and SAT to identify trends, both positive, and areas of need to align with our tested standards. Last year, we showed really good growth, with our SAT scores and our PSAT scores. We beat out a lot of the neighboring high schools, which was a good thing. Teachers have been really innovative as far as getting our students more prepared and ready. Not really teaching to the test, but showing them what the test looks like, then incorporating classroom strategies within their day. So when students see particular questions, they're comfortable with it, they're comfortable with the vocabulary, they're comfortable with how everything's going. We just did a pizza party for our junior class, just because the pre-scores were really, really good. So that's been a positive. You go down in that same column for strategies, increase outreach to local businesses and post-secondary institutions to foster relationships. That'll help our students out. We did the career fair, as you had mentioned, just an overwhelming success. Community partners came out in droves. Students did a really good job that day. They participated in mock interviews. There's a lot of need for highly skilled students to get to the community, electric boat, etc. And we're hopefully producing those students. We have Michelle Walworth now, who is in charge of job placement and helping students with jobs after high school. She's been a huge help in identifying particular students that we refer to her to, and then also having doing clubs, not clubs, but meetings, and teaching groups of students what it looks like to be a good interviewee, so to speak. We're giving them those soft skills that they're going to need out in the real world that they don't necessarily have right now. And so she's sending kids out. She's helping them with mock interviews. After they interview, she's actually getting information back if they didn't get the job. And then she's going over that with the students, which I think is preparing them when they leave us and they fly off, and they'll have those skills necessary to land jobs. Other thing under action steps to the right. So our data, developing data teams. One of the things we talked about last year, we did this in my old school, and we wanted to start it this year, is we have professional learning communities now. So in that second faculty meeting of each month, teachers get together, whether it's a culture and climate team, whether it's a data team, whether it's an ELL team, whether it's a pathways team, and they work together to look for trends, look for positive outcomes, look for areas where we need to be better. And again, that's helping us out tremendously. Going back to the PSAT and SATs, we have specific teachers that are offering additional support during our Tiger Block. And we've now implemented what we call Tiger Labs, where in that Tiger Block period that we have, students are getting specific assistance, remediation skills to help improve areas that they are struggling with currently. So, really working on those things. It's going well. As far as our goal to support students and parents, one of the things we identified as being an issue is our attendance. We actually are doing an analysis right now of all the surrounding schools, really in the state of Connecticut. And to be honest, our numbers are actually quite good comparison to similar type schools. We did notice a huge trend in economics. So average household income directly correlates with attendance rates. So that's something that we need to be mindful of. Again, weekly attendance meetings. We're also developing a chart now to look at future performance based on past attendance performance, which we've never done before. So we can sort of predict where that student's going to fall within the 180th school day. So we can target those students more effectively. Again, constantly reaching out to parents, going over the attendance policy, going over, why attendance matters, not just the short term, but the long-term effects of chronically absent students. So again, our numbers of maintaining pretty steady in the 90s, which is good to see. Always do better. We'll keep working, but we're up against a lot of different things out there in the community where, you know, we need more support from the families to sort of push their son or daughter to get them to come to school and not sick, but we are seeing some really good things. Goals to support families, and students again. We do a lot with our social media platforms, school governance council meetings, which Maddie's a part of. Seems to be a really good way to discuss the issues that families are having out, you know, in the community. Lot of positives with the parents that we're seeing of the various things we're doing. And then again, inviting families in. We did that 7th and 8th grade open house, which I think was really, really important. I think that did, you know, went very well. It's important to get to the students early, show them all the great things that we're doing at Tortolot Memorial High School. We want to continue that because it really is a phenomenal school. We shouldn't be losing any kids as far as I'm concerned. That's some of the neighboring schools. And then it's the support staff, you know, working, not only do we just do the serving works, to survey them at the end of the year, but we constantly do things within the school year to check on how teachers feel about certain initiatives, the pros, the cons, getting teacher feedback and input to make the necessary changes and adjustments. Again, we're looking for additional grants. We just received a $5,000 grant again. We had one as well last year for our media team. So really getting the word out about Tortolot is important. We had 2 staff members do it last year. We will now put a 3rd member on the media team and just publicizing wherever we can, all the great things we're doing. So again, that's the highlights. If anyone has any questions. Try not to bore you guys.
I just have a quick comment, something maybe to piggyback off of Heather's Did You Knows? Those would be really good videos to do with your marketing team, but you could also do a Did You Know We Have a Job Placement?
Yeah,
You know, like just things like that, I think.
yeah. So we have a new website.
Yeah.
It's linked if you guys want to check it out.
Yeah,
On our Thompson page about the
Yeah.
job and
yeah,
something I believe we shared that.
Mhm.
I know I shared it, you
Yeah.
shared it, but absolutely.
yeah, I
Do
think
that.
that might be a good thing to kind of share off of. We just did one for my salon and it was fun, but yeah, so I definitely do.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Thank you.
Thank you. Principal Granado, middle school? You're saving the best for. Only teasing.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for your time that you spent on the board. We wish you the best. And welcome the new board members. All right. So again, for the middle school, over the summer, our climate and culture team met. And we went through the rubric exclusively. And we tried to pinpoint areas where we thought that we could better the school. Our focus this year and our shared vision, I kind of collapsed everything in. So you may hear some repetitive things, but as we go through the format, things overlap. So I kind of condensed it into something that I thought would follow in a better order. So for our shared vision, the climate and culture team felt that it was really important that the faculty and students alike will share in a vision of physical and mental health awareness. We've done a great job at the middle school of increasing our attendance. Kids are coming to school. We're showing gains. But one of the areas that we realized is that we have, to work on a student's mental health and the faculty feeling positive. So we also put a lot of effort into our Tiger Pride, increasing that Tiger spirit. So that way kids are feeling great about coming to school every day, great about earning Tiger Bucks. And how can we improve that? At the middle school, we are always a work in progress, as is everybody. But we are very dedicated to also positive affirmations. So on Wednesdays, our staff will dress in athletic attire And we will have some positive affirmations that we either say through our SEL videos in the morning. We actually have students who are working on our SEL videos in the morning to promote those positive affirmations. We revamped our SEL program in the morning, taking out some videos that were seen a couple of times over the years and had the students give us input of what they thought we needed to add into it, and they put that in there. Great effort on behalf of our student support team, who are constantly looking at new and innovative ways to get everybody on board with Spirit. When we talk about addressing the barriers, again, funding. So we are doing a lot of Spirit things to increase funding for our PBIS. So therefore we can buy things for the students to have. For instance, we did a pink out, and with PBIS money, we ensured that all students had an opportunity to have something pink in case they didn't. We also, through the athletic department, Deb Spinelli gave us shirts that were from the retired basketball team, soccer team, and we were able to give every student a Tiger Gear shirt, which again promotes Spirit, so that everybody feels part of, right? We started a last year, and we are continuing with that, a coffee hour. So I would say bi-monthly. We have a principal's coffee hour where I ask parents, it's a free open door. They can come in and voice their opinion, and voice their concerns, because there's always concerns, right? And there's always things that we can work on. So we have an open door policy. We actually had some really good parent input. And on behalf of that, we have a parent who decided to start their own middle school campaign of some positive affirmations that's going on with the middle school, and reaching out, kind of like the Did You Know, reaching out just on middle school things that are happening. So we did start that. We are also having guest speakers with to do with some addressing barriers that we thought was the social media is really big in the middle school. How can we fight the negative social media out there? And so we are having some guest speakers from Teague. We really utilize Teague. We meet every week with Teague staff members. They're in on our attendance meeting. One of them actually is the lead person in our youth commission that we started. So we get a lot of input and assistance from them, and I'm very grateful for them. Also, for the school practices for learning ethical and civic development of students, we have our National Junior Honor Society that does a lot with this. We have our ROAR team that does a lot with this. We also now added our youth commission that is now heading our food drive this month, and they're taking some active leadership. And again, the National Junior Honor Society did an outstanding job of creating the Veterans Day assembly, and we're very grateful for that, but keeping things in a civic direction. Also with our staff, we're focusing on, again, that restorative practice, trying to engage in, as we know, students, especially at the middle school age, has a lot of conflict resolution. And it's all how we engage, and it's all how we teach them. Yes, this is bothering you. How can I get that point across? How can I engage? And we have what is called restorative practices and restorative circles, where we communicate and we engage in that dialect of how kids can better get themselves expressed, and how the teachers can also participate in this with positive direction and positive reinforcement. And we're also continuing our book talk on Teach Like a Pirate, which is engaging the classroom in a positive learning environment and increasing our motivation with our Tiger Bucks. And of course, we're going to take a look at our surveys, our parent input, at things that And we have school report night and school events where we had open house and parent teacher conferences. And so Mrs. Placzek and I are constantly going around talking to parents, making sure, if they have anything to say or that they have some input. And basically, that is where we stand for the middle school. Any questions or concerns? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Business guy drops his wall.
Just testing you.
I think you're all gonna be able to hear me. Welcome.
Right there in the middle, squeeze the hand.
Very good, thank you. Welcome to the new incoming board members. Look forward to working with you. And thank you and congratulations really to Mr. Wachowski, Mrs. Carlson, and Mr. Angelo. Thank you for your service, really. The countless hours and dedication. It's really impressive. Honestly, impressive. It's been a pleasure to work with you. So thank you so much. School climate plan. Let me just the team: Ashlyn Ellsworth, Jennifer Becker-Musey, Amanda Bonin, Tia Valley, Christina Josie, who's a parent and also doubles as an employee, and myself. At the time, I think it's important to know, at the time of this, we've had several meetings, but at the time of putting together this climate plan, we did use the Panorama survey data. There's like a bunch of additional data that we can use over the course of our meetings. We can use suspension data, academic data, teacher surveys through professional development, and attendance data. And we do plan on using that. But it's important to note that we just use the Panorama results. I'm going to take a little more of a targeted approach. I'm going to try to be succinct, but go over like sort of each standard and what we look at for determining improvement at the elementary school, especially with respect to the conversations that we have. Standard 1, evident that all school members in the community are committed to physical, emotional, and intellectual safety. Some of the conversations and what we look at is, of course, in terms of physical safety, there are policies in place that keep students safe from bullying and harassment, and we have conversations around that. In terms of intellectual safety, we do provide and have conversations around supportive learning environments for those students. And then finally, with respect to the emotional well-being and safety of students, we really pride ourselves in having strong relationships with our students, strong relationships with our families. So those three are the cornerstones for shared vision standard number 1. And just before I forget, most of the strategies to realize improvement, I put this on my list. You can read it, that we have a bunch of PBIS activities that we do. We invite parents into the building all the time. We have a robust attendance team. We work with the guidance counselors. We work with the social workers to maintain really an effective learning environment. So that'll be under the school and the climate plan under every single strategy to realize improvement. But that's not all exhaustive. There's so many different things that we do. Again, this was put together after the second or third meeting, but it's a fluid document, so we'll continue to work on it. Standard number 2, participants share a vision of what positive and restorative school climate feels and sounds like. Of course, we do a lot of social emotional learning at the elementary school with the use of ruler, students recognizing, understanding, and learning their emotions on a day-to-day basis. We do a lot of community building in the classroom. If you ever came around the elementary school and you've been there plenty of times, you see in the morning the community building activities that the teachers do with their students.
Of course, every single teacher has a welcoming classroom, a welcoming school environment. We like to think that the school is super welcoming, and we pride ourselves in that. In terms of, in addition to that, a positive vision of a restorative and a positive climate. Of course, open and honest communication, that is student to teacher to student, teacher to teacher, administrator to teacher, parent to teacher. Those are also cornerstones of a solid school climate. Shared on the next page, or the third standard, shared values, how must participants act toward one another in order to advance the vision of a positive and restorative school climate. We have strong collaboration among teachers that's embedded within our school class schedule. Every single day, teachers are getting together. They are not only going over student data, but they are having positive dialogue with respect to what's happening in each other's classrooms. And this is great. This is not only vertically, third grade teachers talking to fourth grade teachers, second grade teachers talking to third grade teachers, but it's within the grade level as well. We have active partnerships with parents. We pride ourselves into reaching out to parents early and often to advocate for students and advocate for what's happening in the classroom. We have an open door policy, of course. And so, again, transparent communication with the teachers, with the parents is super important. Priorities contained in any existing school or district improvement plans. Do the plans contain focus on improved school working? Of course. Students receive strong instruction. There's a common vision among every single teacher in the elementary school. We have high expectations for not only the students in the elementary school, but the teachers have high expectations for themselves. We have clear, consistent, and fair discipline policies that we feel really contribute to an effective school climate. In terms of promoting and developing a sustained, comprehensive set of skills, knowledge, and dispositions, we are committed to continuous improvement through the weekly and daily data discussions that we have about our students. This is from pre-K, K, first, second, third, and fourth grade. Teachers meet on a daily basis. They have really rich conversations about what's happening inside their classrooms. And of course, continuous self-improvement through professional development and through the teacher evaluation process itself. Standard number 2, addressing barriers to teaching and learning comprehensively. So what is the elementary school doing to address those barriers? Of course, the barriers that come to mind for our committee was the socioeconomic barriers and factors, specifically of unstable home environments. And so what we do is we are aware of that, and we do whatever we can in terms of connecting with parents to make sure we can provide them what they need on a daily basis and provide their children what they need on a daily basis. Of course, mental health is also a barrier to student learning. We understand that. And to keep an effective climate, students must feel that their self-esteem must be worked on, their anxiety, their levels of depression. And at the elementary school, we are seeing that. And so we have identified that as a barrier to learning, and we are fully aware of that. So we've identified those students that have those issues, and we've connected them with guidance counselors, we've connected them with school social workers, and this is all in an effort to increase the school climate. There's so many layers to school climate. These are just targeted approaches to what we're doing on a daily basis. Standard number 3, school academic or school practices, academic learning, social, emotional, ethical, civic development of students. Again, I think the important part in that is our conversations revolve around having high expectations for students, both academically and behaviorally in and out of the classroom. In addition to that, we address learning disabilities by identifying those students early and putting together a response to intervention with those students that we've identified that have learning disabilities. If a student doesn't feel comfortable excelling in school, and if that student doesn't feel like their disabilities have been addressed, or if the parents don't feel as though their children's disabilities have been addressed, that impacts school climate. We're fully aware of that, so we try to identify early and often with kids. Enhancing engagement and participation in teaching, learning, and school-wide activities. This is where all the PBIS activities come into place. I know Mr. Mellon and Mrs. Renato talked about it. We have our fair amount of PBIS activities. We have instituted a new monthly roar and soar, I guess you could call it assembly, where we recognize positive achievement, academic achievement within the elementary school. We give out attendance awards. We recognize teachers for everything that they do on a daily basis. So again, that roar and soar activity is just another little tidbit of information in a way that you can enhance school climate within a school community. Standard 3, sorry to belabor all this, but I want to make sure I let you know what we're doing at each standard. Barriers to teaching and learning and re-engaging the disengaged students. Of course, one of the barriers, of course, is a behavioral barrier. We have what's called an RTI, or a response to intervention process and protocol that we put into place at the elementary. One of the ways that we can intervene with a child is have meetings and discussions about how to change that child's behavior, maybe connect them with an adult in the school, and of course have conversations with those parents. Addressing another barrier to teaching and learning are the teachers are trained to identify students with learning disabilities. We've done a great job. I know you are fully aware of all of the work that the elementary school has done by getting those teachers to be OG trained and OG certified to identify students with dyslexia. Just another way that we can increase the school climate, or at least change the school climate for the better. One of the ways that communities or parents in a community may become disengaged, especially with the growing population of MLL students in North Brokendale, is making sure that they feel comfortable. So we've sent home when we send home weekly communications, we send them home in 7 or 8 or 9 different languages, so that they recognize, those parents feel welcome, and they feel like they have an opportunity to succeed at the elementary school. Welcoming environments. We have, I mentioned in the beginning, classrooms are super welcoming. They're structured, the facilities are clean. The adults are always warm and professional. We work on developing community building activities at the elementary school. I mean, the list goes on and on. I'm sorry. I know I'm doing a lot of talking here. We're almost there. Is there a clear understanding that school climate improvement and inclusion work is going on in an organic process? Absolutely. We have data that restorative data is something that the school climate team will have to discuss. We've never really had formative or summative restorative data that we've looked at. We've looked at attendance data. We've looked at suspension data, we've looked at multiple different areas of growth, but we never really looked at formative or summative restorative data. So we do have to have a conversation about what that looks like in the elementary school. We recognize that the tenets of restorative practices are important. That means community building and repairing harm when harm has been done. So the teachers and the adults at the elementary are fully aware of what restorative means. However, looking at restorative data is something that we'll just have to work on. Almost there are all stakeholders' interests represented and reflected in improvement efforts. We like to think so. We are trying to improve our communication. We have conversations every day about how we can improve our communication, both with teachers in the building, adults outside the building, and of course, families outside the building. We offer opportunities for those adults that come to school. We have coordinated with organizations like Teague to improve school and family partnerships. Of course, we now have Thompson Community Covered, run by one of the individuals right behind me. So that's another opportunity for the elementary school to partner with community agencies. Another opportunity for us to enhance our school climate. And then finally is progress monitoring inherent in efforts to improve school climate work. Of course, we take pride, not only the school climate team, but every adult in the building have rich conversation. I mentioned it earlier about formative assessments, summative assessments, attendance data, suspension rates, teacher evaluation, and teacher survey results. So it's kind of a lengthy document. It's a fluid document. It's in progress. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. Sorry, I took more of a targeted approach to answering every standard, so. No questions? Not even one? Okay. Thanks again. Have a great night.
Thank you.
So Kathleen, do you want me to continue on the agenda?
Well, we can stop at this point if you want me to add the item H.
Yes, the administrator reports, we do have Chris Jones that is going to be waiting to answer your questions, Kathleen, around excess costs. And obviously Bill Steglitz needs to give his budget update. So if we could add H.
Yes, so I'll entertain a motion to add item H under number 8 for administrative reports from Bill Steglitz and Dr. Jones.
I'll make the motion, Kathleen.
Thank you. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Everyone in favor of adding item H for administrative reports? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition, say no.
No.
Okay, the motion passes.
It's gonna be different. You still Bill.
Okay. Now, all right, now we can
Making the
continue.
report somehow.
Pardon me?
Thank you. So I am thrilled to introduce Jody Clark and Stephen LaPointe, both from Connecticut State. Remember last year when we had the ribbon cutting of our welding program, and it's a day program to expand, the welding skill opportunities for our students. One of the things that I have been working with Electric Photon is trying to extend that learning opportunity in the evening because our welding shop is there and it's sitting vacant at night. And so some of those discussions kind of stalled along the way, but lo and behold, Steve and Jody resurrected that conversation. And I think it comes on the heels of the big thrust for EB to get more welders into especially the Groton shipyard. And so the conversation came back. And because of Steve and Jody, it's alive and well, and we had a recent meeting, so I invited both of them here this evening to kind of go over the program. But what's important for me to bring to the board's attention is that facilities use is always in my purview, right? And so if we rent the auditorium to a dance studio, we have a document that guides us on how we're going to charge the people. And then Danielle does a lot of work on the backside with that organization. And that is something that I approve, and that's my policy. This is a little different because now this is every single night, and it's for multiple sessions. And so I wanted to bring it before the board so that you were well aware of the usage of the building and what the program is going to look like. And that's why Steve and Jody are here tonight.
All right, well, thank you for having us. So this dynamic duo, she said, Steve and Jody, we've been doing this for 14 years, right? We're going to our 14th year, and it's world-class passion and commitment to the training programs that we offer at Quinebaug Valley. And don't be confused when you hear CT State, Quinebaug Valley. We still are Quinebaug Valley Community College, right? She's got a degree there, and I'm born and raised in Putnam, so I'm fully committed to this community. So the opportunity that we're looking at right now is really how do we put a welding proposal together to do some adult training at night with roughly 3 to 4 cohorts a year, sharing the facility and meeting Electric Boat's needs. I had the honor of sitting with Joe Courtney the other day, and the congressman's very supportive of what's going on here already. And how do we look at expanding that, right? It's really about a little bit of a national security issue here as well. I can tell you the numbers that are coming out of EB Groton alone are 150 welders in year 26 and 300 welders in the year 27. And really it's about how do we use the investment that they've already put into Turtle High to maybe expand on that going down the road to offer maybe 2 more welding booths, upgrading the facilities as is to meet some more of that. So let's get into the W. So when we're talking about trying to start in February 26th, pretty aggressive, but we'll see how it pans out. And we're looking at Monday through Friday classes, 3 to 9:30, and they're 10-week programs, about 300 hours of training. And like I said, we'd like to run 3 or 4 of those cohorts a year, starting with 6 students, and hopefully if things go well, we can look at expanding that out. Hey, what about the quiet corner, right? We like making noise up here, even though everything on the other side of the river is where all the focus has been. It's changing now with what we've got going on the eastern side and Electric Boat's needs and the collaboration of Three Rivers, Quinebaug Valley Community College, and we've got the EWIB involved in Electric Boat. Believe me, it's a force to be reckoned with. And how do we meet these outcomes that everybody's looking for? Electric Boat's looking at 5,000 people a year right now for the next, how do we find 5,000 people, never mind train 5,000 people? So that's the task that we're faced with. And again, back to this, the educational opportunities for students. We always offer any of our students that go through these non-credit training programs that are either EWIB or Electric Boat provided. We give the students a chance to earn credits for those classes. We do what's called credit by exam, credit for prior learning. So these students are already on a career path for that now. As we're targeting the adult learning for the unemployed and underemployed people, right? I know that there's plenty of students that have gone through the Turtle High program and maybe aren't doing what they wanted to do in the welding field, right? Here's another opportunity for them to re-engage and get some type of employment locally, right? That's, even though this is Electric Boat faced and promised to meet their needs, it's also a local community we're trying to fill with this. So as we train, when we talk about workforce development, training our entire community, it's about everybody, because people are going to be moving in all of these different locations and different different disciplines. So what are we trying to do? We're trying to grow the benefits are how do we help the economic growth of the Thompson area? And again, back to offering those Turtle High grads a chance to get back in and take some more extensive training with a definite opportunity for that. And again, I mentioned talking about probably adding a couple of welding booths and maybe looking at upgrading that entire facility. When we get into the responsibilities of what an MLU might look like, and there's going to be a lot of questions about how we're going to go about this, but we've had some spitballing ideas of what we would probably want to do in lieu of the use of the area itself. We'd probably pick up all of the costs for what you have in the Turtle High welding program now. It gets very difficult to try to split out who's using what, when there's a wire spool right out. So we would say, you know what, we're going to pick up the whole tab for the year. Looks like it's roughly around $7,000 for you to run your welding programs now. And then we can work on the details on top of that as far as security goes, trash, snow removals, et cetera, like that. We'd have to talk through those details in an MOU, but I think that would be the basic. You know, take a line item off your budget for a welding program that goes directly to us and we handle it all. And we would try to continue to work with your existing welding supplier now, which is Wasco. Airgas is the state's contract facility, but I think that we could probably find a way to keep that community business agreement going. So other than that, you know, I'm open to any questions. It's an exciting time, and I know Congressman Cordy would be here in 2 seconds to say, we're doing what? And he'll be right behind it, and then we can really elevate this to put the highlight back on Turtle Rock.
And what I really think is, you know, when our students get hired in May, they go to New England Tech for this 10-week training program before they go to the shipyard. Now they'll be able to apply and hopefully they'll be put in the queue so that they can do their training close to home.
I have 2 questions, if
Sure.
you would mind. So would in your mind, would this be a 1-year kind of agreement and that's renewable upon?
Yeah, we're looking at probably,
successful-
the MOU would probably be, we'd look at a 3-year process, because that
3
would be, yeah, that's,
Okay.
we're looking at 26, 27, 28.
Okay.
And that's just the projected numbers for now. And talking to Congress recording the other day, it's into the, you know, 2040s. We've got this government contracts for, they gotta build 3,000 a year for eternity, and you know what's going on in the world right now and how we're gonna need to ramp all this up, and that's a combination of Quonset Point and Groton to do what we need to do. So yeah, we'd be looking at probably a 3-year MOU along those lines.
And then my other question is, would there be preferential, like, would there be preference to Thompson and or Turtle Rock grads?
So I
as-
asked that same
yeah.
question.
Yeah.
I was told no, that there wouldn't be preference given, but because the recruitment is led through the Eastern Workforce Investment Board,
Okay.
right, the American Job Centers. So I was told no, but
Well, we were told no for the people that are currently hired and waiting in the queue,
correct.
but there wasn't a no for the
For
future.
Preference for future, so
Okay.
yeah.
And you have
And-
qualified, experienced people now that are applying to this, so when you pull it up like a
Right.
resume going, hey, you've already been doing some welding?
Right, and we've toyed around with the idea because, right, the Turtle Rock High School students will be coming in with some knowledge, right? So, and this is a 10-week program, so someone coming straight off the street, you know, that classroom management might be difficult for the instructor because he's gonna have some students that have more experience than the other, right? So the possibility of maybe splitting the 10 weeks up into 2 different sessions, so that way the Turtle Rock High School students could jump into the second portion of it, but we're playing with a lot of.
Yeah, and Mike
layout of
has,
it.
and Kim Steglitz has, and TJ, he's not here, but we've talked about the possibility of taking kids' schedules and flipping them on their head, where they come in and maybe have to do their 4th-year English class, but then they take this program at night and they get work credit for it. And so we're playing around with how can we, especially second semester seniors that have already done all their graduation requirements. So it could be an opportunity in that realm.
I have a few questions for both halves of the room. A, how many booths do we have now?
6.
And you're looking to expand that to
By 2.
by 2, and we have the physical space to do that.
Yes.
And 3 o'clock, is that too early as far as overlapping with students?
No,
Okay, and would we have to have an additional security person
Yeah.
on the ground? Okay.
yes, and
that's
that
part of
that is the
MOU
expense that they would have to cover
Right.
because we just don't have.
And it would be our people.
It would
Or-
be our
or
people.
would it be-
Our security leaves at 5:30, so we would need someone here from 5:30 until the close of this program, because you are bringing in people from
Out.
the community.
Yes. What was the other thing? And it's, you said it's 10-week program. So this program, the skills taught in this program are separate from what we teach at the high school.
Correct.
That's another level.
The submarine specific.
Yeah.
Okay. I think those were my questions.
Yes, sir.
I just have a couple, on the instructor side. So it's your instructors, not our instructor. And does our instructor have opportunities to get PD through this program? with
Oh,
you?
absolutely. We've always worked with, your youth manufacturing pipeline program as well. So we're constantly working with different
Mike.
professional development to instructors to bring them up to the higher level.
Salo just finished, so Mike is very skilled, as we all know. But Salo, who's on the construction side, finished 2 weeks at EB this summer at New England Tech. So he's dipping his feet in there, so that he might be able to pick up a welding class during the day.
But that's, I guess, on the benefit side, like,
It
that'd be nice to throw in there is that our instructors are getting PD and the additional experience so that they can prep our students, our in-house students for this program going forward.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that the college has to offer as well, as far as like the weld breakage and stuff, we can measure tensile strengths as a whole nother level. The engineering side, right? So when we talk about the general population at Turtle High, we're always trying to let them be aware of the careers that are available in engineering science or engineering mechanic. Everybody's picking a different path and we have all those different opportunities for free college, and we'd be on campus quite a bit here to keep feeding them and giving them the goes.
What is the, I don't want to be negative about this, what is the current lifespan of a welder at EB?
Oh, there's people
Do they
probably
stay there?
retiring at 60 something, yeah.
Okay, just want
It's
to
a
make sure. it was
well-paying career.
Right,
Oh, like that I know.
this projection is going out for years to come. Yeah.
And they may not always be a welder, so even though they get their foot in the door as a welder at EB, they may see something else, go back for training for a different discipline. EB is always moving their workforce in different directions.
Right.
And the key is getting your foot in the door. One thing that I've experienced, even with my own daughter, her trying to get a position, she would blindly apply, and it took her forever. And turns out she was applying for all the wrong jobs. And then turned out she applied for the wrong job again, but got it, and isn't at the rate where it should be. And now just today, there was someone else that came to me and, that same thing, how do I get into electric boat? I just graduated as a mechanical engineer and I want to get in, but I can't. I've applied numerous times. And so this is that
It helps.
gateway in.
Thank you.
So I guess what I'm asking from the board is permission to enter into an agreement with Connecticut State, so that we open up the shop at night. Because it's excessive facility use, I felt like it would be important to run it by you and see if you feel it's important to vote on it or not. But I open it up, I'm bringing it to you all for discussion.
Melinda Danielle had her hand raised.
Oh, I'm sorry,
That's
Danielle, I
okay.
didn't see that.
That's okay. I was just, how large of a queue is it? Like, are you guys working off like months and months of people waiting to get in to do this queue, or do you just?
Well, the welding is, again, we're looking at a geographical based.
Yeah,
It's a difference now, because everybody on the Groton is thinking, I'm gonna weld in Groton, right? So how do you
Right.
get somebody from up here to say, I'm gonna go to Groton every day to learn how to weld?
yeah,
So we're looking at a new geographical area to start tapping into. The
yeah,
northeast corner, tapping on the door of Webster, Worcester. It's
Yeah.
right there, and that's what EB is looking at. How do we get back? Because we need 5,000 bodies. We gotta
Right.
tap out to every different geographical location, and then they'll figure out the transportation side of the employment piece later on, and that's what the state's talking about now. How do we get a bus to come from, wherever, bringing 50 people to EB each day to eliminate some of the parking issues that they have down here now, right?
Oh,
Instead of everybody
right.
taking their own car. They're looking at that as a strategic plan to fulfill this big number.
And that would be helpful.
Yeah.
Especially for our
Transportation,
kids
there's a
that
lot
don't
of talk
have-
about transportation and state is, Governor Lamont is right on top of this stuff. He knows what's going on here, and this is a big ask, and everybody needs to get involved. Total collaboration across the state to make this happen. That's what it's gonna take.
so if we had a past Turtle Rock graduate that's on the cusp of thinking about it, would you tell them to go to eWeb and just sign up right now, or, oh,
Absolutely.
gotcha, I'm just, thinking of.
Ask me for a friend.
Yeah, I know, I might know a few.
We need a motion?
We
So,
need a motion.
Kathleen said yes.
I'll make a motion to allow the superintendent to entertain an agreement with CT State pending our final review on the night welding program.
I'll second.
Okay. Any further, the only thing is that, we don't have any numbers, that's my concern. We have to be at least monetary neutral. We can't expend any money on this.
Yeah, I see it going the other way. I see you actually making some money on this. That's definitely part of the plan.
Yeah, it would be nice if we could make some money on this.
That was the pending final.
Yes, and I have a question. Will this come before the negotiation committee or just straight to the?
No, any
for-
contracts like that I usually sign.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
But, yeah, I'll probably, if I need legals to look at it, depends on how much jargon is in there. But primarily, we're hoping that the cost of gas, supplies, which we're paying a lot of money for, right now, is not on the BOE budget anymore. It's part of this agreement. And then the one thing that we cannot cover is the extra security hours. And if Connecticut State can cover that, then we're good.
Yeah.
My only concern would be the custodial aspect, because by their contract, when the building's open, at least one of those gentlemen are here.
They're gonna be here during regular hours.
Yeah, I thought they left at 9. So if it's
No,
a-
11.
Oh, 11.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right, that's good then. I thought there was on it.
Another question, if I may, does UV or CT State, you have any welding program at all at your
Now,
your school?
CT State.
no, CT State does.
Okay,
As Nantuck, and then, Three Rivers down in Groton at, Grasso Tech.
In North Valley.
Oh,
So we have both credit programs for welding with AWS certification as well as the non-credit training. So
Right.
in fact, in testing out of some of these things,
right,
we can be getting some certifications. And
thank you.
I think this is great. I
Yeah.
was gonna say that.
And just one more thing, I just want you to know that, Quinnebog Valley has a lot of resources that I'm sure you're gonna find in your facility here some way, somehow, because of the budgets that we have to work with. So again, I talked to Mr. Joyce, and we know exactly the things that you need and what you're lacking. And whether it comes from us or a business, it's gonna be advantageous to that program.
Excellent.
Just like pending final review of the contract.
Mhm.
I would like to see, I think we would all like to see a copy of that before it goes.
We need a vote, right?
So we had a motion, wait a second.
Yeah, they just did a
Okay.
call.
I have a motion and a second. So if this discussion is, we can take a vote. We
Mhm.
ready to put the motion to the floor for a vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Say no. Any abstentions? And the motion passes. Next item on the agenda is the administrator contract approval. You all have a copy of that?
No,
No.
No. Do you want to table it till next month?
yes.
It's been ratified by the union.
Oh, okay, well then, next month.
Do that. Well, we don't have it, but.
Vote on something.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Do we have a timeline though on this one to get it signed and?
We could add it to the November 17th, but I don't know if you'll have
Yeah.
a full quorum, but you might. We could add it to that meeting.
That would be a good idea if we did
Okay.
that.
Motion to table 8D to the next available meeting. There's a quorum.
Yeah. Okay, the school law firm approval.
So I know that you asked that we put this on the agenda. We did go out to bid. We got 2 law firms that bid for our Board of Ed legal. We had Andrew Hennius, that firm that does our special ed, which will continue to do our special ed. He did bid, and then also Steve Sador's new law firm also bid.
Yeah, Matt and, did you all get a copy or at least the pricing sheet from these? I know Matt and I got the full package at the negotiation. I don't know, Matt, if you agree with me, Matt and I kind of discussed it a little bit. I think, with the Canaan, Escalera and McHale, um, my, my opinion and mine only was that, I felt that we should stay with Steve Sador. And now we have Dan Murphy also belongs to that firm, whom we're familiar with the, from our, expulsion meetings. He, brings more to the table. We're familiar with Steve. They charge $25 an hour more. They are a little more expensive, but they're here in Connecticut. And we've been very successful with them through negotiations. And I felt that we should stay with them for our school and negotiations. But that, of course, because that Dr. Jones works well with this firm out of Providence, I don't, Hennius, Carroll, and Lombardo, he's comfortable with them, that we stay with them for the special ed. They are a little bit less expensive, on the pay scale and stuff, but the only firm that they serve in Connecticut is us. So I would be leery to move everything over to them as far as, legal negotiations and every other problems that we have in school because, of that factor. That's my opinion. And the reason that I propose that we continue to stay with Steve Sador and now Dan Murphy.
I'd agree with that, and the price difference was minimal, and I'm more comfortable with going with it. We only got the 2 replies, so I'm more comfortable going with a Connecticut firm dealing with Connecticut education law. And definitely, yeah, I like working with Steve, and it's not all about like and personal preference. And I really like working with Dan Murphy as well. So I agree with Kathleen on that. Haven't seen that, but I don't know what we need to do.
The 20, yeah, that was the only difference.
Right, but in terms of, did everybody else see any of this?
No.
And so, but I
I
don't know.
wasn't, I didn't know what to do with it. You both had the packets and I didn't know what to do with it next.
Gotcha. I don't know that we have too many choices. We have 2 choices, and like I said, I'm more comfortable. Do we want to table this as well?
That's up to the board.
I'd just say one thing that, I mean, in the years of working with Steve Sador and then Shipman Goodman before them, it's always nice to have their those firms, because they do have their fingers on the pulse when it comes to negotiations. They know what the standard rates are, they know what's going on, and they know where you should be in order to be in line with other school districts. And I don't know anything about this Rhode Island firm. And if we're the only school district here, are they truly gonna know what's going on when it comes to negotiations? For percentages, what the going rate is, where can you push back, where can you not push back? That's my take.
Yeah. Anybody else?
When do you guys have to have a new contract signed?
Well, we're in an interim period that we hired the new firm that Steve Sador is working for. Because we went out to bid, we got the bids back. Kathleen and Matt got copies of those of those bids. We only got two, even though we sent it out to quite a few firms. The next step is up to the board.
I'm gonna recommend that we all get copies of whatever Matt and Kathleen have and have a chance to review it before we're asked to
Vote on it.
approve or deny. I think that's the safest bet. Around the table.
Okay,
Table this until the 17th as well, and like to see as many people there.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
How do we get? Are we gonna get these emailed or mailed?
Danielle will have to
So that Karen-
copy it for you, scan it, copy it for you. We still have one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So motion to table 8.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's good. All right, then we move on to the 26-27 school calendar.
And the new school calendar has one major change. The teachers from the Professional Development Committee asked that we take a PD day and that we typically use in May, and we move it to the start of the school year because they feel like full days of professional development to start the school year without children is more impactful for the rest of the school year. We had one in May primarily to review data, and that's important, and data teams do need to meet, but they feel they can do that data review on a half day on the 5th of May, which is on the calendar. So we moved that day up to the start of the school year. So you'll see the 24th and the 25th are two full PD days. The Wednesday is a half day for teachers. It's teacher orientation day. And then school would start on the Thursday rather than the Wednesday that we typically do. And then everything else is basically aligned with the East Con regional calendar as far as the December break, the April break. Thanksgiving's a little different for us because we have the Wednesday by contract off. And then the date of graduation is here on the calendar for the 11th. And the last day of school is on the 10th of June, the day before.
Okay.
I have a question about why are parent conferences in October?
We move them up specifically by request of the teachers because they want to meet with the parents a little bit earlier.
Okay, I'm just thinking, I'm just gonna say from a PTO point of view, great, with the pies, it's like killing our fundraiser, because this week was already a year. I mean, this year was already a week earlier. So we'll just have to pay for.
So I guess I'm looking at it from an academic perspective.
No, I
right?
understand. I'm just saying then we'll have to have a different day for them to come and pick up, and we'll have to have like security and everything later in November. Okay. Is the only, that was my from that perspective.
So suggestion on that one is we throw an open house in there or something. That maybe another open house to pick up pies and cookies and fundraiser stuff. Like maybe I know we do an open house when school starts, but
Right, but it's their parents are in the
We would-
building. It's hard to go.
Unless Lindsay could do something with Title I, we can't require the teachers to, they have so many nights of a contract that they're here and they're pretty eaten up in the calendar as it is.
or just duplicate it with another event, like maybe a parents' night out kind of thing or something like that. So they pick up their kid, they pick up their cookies and breadsticks and the other way.
I know, we weren't thinking of that when we moved the.
No, I understand. It's just another perspective that we have to have the building. Are they the live-in pies too? Security and other.
And for elementary, that is
We
what,
make
that is their
those-
absolute largest fundraiser, so. For being able to provide funds for teacher supply requests, field trips, all of that stuff that elementary and middle school PTO supply. That cuts into their ability to do that.
Well, I'll have somebody here for you.
Okay,
You'll be good.
thank you, Greg.
He needs a piece of the pie.
Can I have a motion, guys, because you've been discussing, we need a motion.
Justin is raising his hand.
You want the motion to discuss? Motion to
Yeah,
discuss.
motions come before discussion.
Second.
Okay, good, now discuss.
All right, I have two comments. One is there any chance of us being able to move the half day on the 9th? And I'm only saying that because they have the Monday off,
Which ninth?
September 9th. They have the Monday off, they're coming back for a full day on a Tuesday, and then a half day on a Wednesday. At the beginning of the school year, I think it's better to have consistency than not.
Mm.
So
We
that's,
can move it later in the month.
that's what I was thinking, if possible,
Pick a day.
23rd.
23.
Okay.
I mean, it's,
No, but that's a good point though, Justin. 'cause that-
well, they have to, and this goes back to last year's discussion, they have to have a half day once a month for PD,
Mhm.
right?
They have a
Mhm.
half day once a month, yes.
Yeah. So I get it, I think we need a little more consistency at the beginning of the school year, that was my
And
comment there.
I actually have pulled out many half days.
So we talked about that last year.
Yeah.
The other question I had is why the 16th of February? Why is that a vacation? Is that for a
PD.
reason?
The 15th, 16th are holidays in February.
President's Day.
What's the 16th?
It's our February break.
Yes,
Still get a week.
the 15th and the 16th is February, President's Day and the day after.
The day after. So the 16th is just because it's the day after.
Everybody does that in the region,
Okay.
those 2 days.
That's fine. I
I
just
would
wanted, it's like a random 2 days.
It used to be.
Used to be a full week.
Used to be a
Right,
full
right.
week.
That's what I was, and I was,
Believe me, people would like it to go back to a week, but we keep it to the 2 days.
Then you'll be in August.
Yeah.
no, I
Don't change graduation date. You should the second Friday. You fought this for years.
Yep.
Right, Bill?
That's all I got.
Motion to accept?
With that one change, moving the half day on the 9th.
The 23rd of September? Okay.
Sorry, guys.
Second.
Okay,
We vote.
so are we ready to put the motion to the floor?
Yes.
Yes.
With that a change to the May, moving it up to August?
No, the
Okay.
9th, moving it to the 23rd
Okay,
September.
of September.
so 23rd of September, okay,
Do you remember?
okay. Okay, all in favor of accepting the,
Aye.
thank you. Any opposition? No? No? Okay, hearing none. Any abstentions? Okay, the motion passes unanimously. Next up is the budget calendar.
Motion to approve the budget calendar as presented.
Yeah.
Second.
Who did the motion?
Justin.
Okay, Justin and second, okay. I don't know that there's much to discuss on this. I don't know, we don't have
I have
much.
a date conflict.
Yes, it's like 5 years.
Well,
Is it?
date conflict for the Board of Ed,
Yeah,
okay.
20th of January is a Tuesday.
Isn't that?
But that's a joint meeting.
Right?
Okay, don't come.
It's workshop number 2. Tuesdays.
Yeah,
Girls
but it's a BOE and BOF meeting.
Bill, is that calendar already set with the BOF?
No. They are
Probably
taking
not.
next Thursday.
When's Martin Luther King Day though?
The 19th.
You can't do it.
That's right.
Can't do it Monday.
Gonna dance around when I'm not here too.
after this.
It probably isn't set with them, and then there may be problems on their side too, so. Um. Okay,
Can we move it to the 21st? That's a Wednesday. Is that a building committee meeting? Is that?
probably
why?
a good day.
Oh, right.
Is it building?
PTO, middle school PTO is the third Wednesday.
Oh, so could we move it to the 21st? Is that a conflict for anyone?
I can just give them my treasurer's report. There've been multiple meetings where I've just.
Yeah.
Here it is. I can move 21st, that's fine.
To the
21st?
Do you
Yep.
want to keep it to the 20th or the
No,
21st?
I wanna move it to the 21st.
Okay, we'll make that the 21st then.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's pending BOE
Right,
agreement, right?
yes.
Kathleen, do you have any idea on the times of the start times of the BOE budget workshops? 6, 7?
No, I think we start them earlier, don't we?
Yeah.
The budget meetings are at 6.
Yeah, about 6. I thought we start them around 6. The joint meetings may start later, but the other ones, I thought we tried to start them around 6 so we can, because the individual directors have to come to those meetings. Or at least a couple of them. I know the public hearing doesn't start till 7, so our meetings usually start at 6.
Kathleen, it doesn't look like there's any more comments.
Okay. All right. So I will move this to the floor for a vote. All in favor of accepting the budget calendar with the change of the joint meeting, the first joint meeting.
Aye.
All right. To 21st.
Aye.
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 All right, it passes.
I abstain.
All right, now we have the admin reports. Bill Steglitz, can you update us on the budget and the audit and
I feel like you need scarves hanging.
You're rocking Bill.
First of all, Danielle, Bill, and Tom, thank you for fighting the good fight as long as you have.
Thank you.
I know it's not easy. Thank you so much.
Why I have no hair.
So for fiscal 2025, no update from our past numbers, holding steady at a deficit of around 67,000.
Okay.
See how that ultimately shakes out. For fiscal 26, no change to the budget yet. We have year-to-date spending of 6.4 million, which is just a little bit ahead of where we were this time last year. Encumbrances, on the other hand, are a little bit better than they were last year at 14.3 million. A total projected spend at the moment, 20.7 million, 95.2% of the budget, a little bit better than where we were tracking at last year. No special ed excess costs are figured into these numbers yet. The first payment, I believe, is in February and the last one in June. Is that right? I have to look at you for this one every year, Melinda.
It's usually May.
May. We'll take it as soon as we can get it.
Yep.
We did get the additional $40,000 in seed money. Related to special ed, just a couple weeks ago.
That's
So
the
that
one
was-
that they promised us from
Right.
last year,
That
right?
was encouraging
Yeah.
to see. The same two departments that we've discussed the last couple months are still projected to be in deficit. Pupil services currently at 485,000. Same cause as out of district placement, partially offset by a little better than expected special ed transportation cost. And ESY, this number won't change for the remainder of the year, obviously, because ESY is done, 5,000 over budget. Higher than expected transportation and paraprofessional salaries. Current events and finance, oh joy, the auditors are here next week. Can't believe it.
Have fun.
And as you see, we've pushed along the budget calendar. Melinda and I actually had our kickoff meeting already. And we are anticipating sending out the templates to the principals and teachers and all the directors on Wednesday. We've changed up the process a little bit this year, going fully electronic. We have a shared drive set up, so folks will be logging in. Tina Nolan, who has taken over for Eileen Deary after her retirement, has definitely hit the ground running and has jumped in with some great ideas for improving the process. She's jumped in and already pre-populated templates with names and account numbers. I know that sounds very exciting, but on the budgeting side, it really helps because missing account numbers is something that we stub our toe on all the time. So we're looking forward to just tearing into that again. Any questions?
Just getting it on the record, the overage on the security was covered by the Board of Finance reconciliating all the old projects, right?
Yes.
Yes, right, there was the final piece of the retainage on the security project was about $27,000. The building committee requested to the Board of Finance, Brian Santos did a fine job requesting that we transfer some appropriations that had been left over from previous projects. So it was nice to be able to cover that without any impact to the general fund.
Right. That's cleared off.
Yep, that's cleared. The bill's been paid, and that long running project is now behind us.
How are we doing on grant payments on the HVAC project? Is that going?
Well, reimbursements from the state started off okay. They've slowed down quite a bit. I currently have everything that we can submitted. I actually, believe it or not, I do the submission the day we pay the invoice. Through Connecticut's CT core site. Last one took a month. This one, I checked at the end of last week. I had submitted it a week and a half ago and it still hasn't gone through first approval yet. What I'm seeing with these is first approval comes relatively quickly and then it gets hung up in this director level review. But I call pretty much weekly. I'm probably their favorite person. But I really need to keep on them because we're trying to maintain, kind of minimize the impact on interest costs and everything and level of borrowing at the town.
Yep. Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you. Kathleen, Dr. Jones is on, so.
Okay, yeah, Dr. Jones, would you please give us an update on the Pupil Services Department?
I sure will. Good evening, everyone. So as Superintendent Smith stated earlier, our total student population is 774, of which we have 204 students that have qualified for special education services, 74 students that qualify for Section 504. We have 22 students that are outplaced. Of that 22, we have 5 of those students in our Bradley School, Windham County program on site, leaving 17 students that are placed in 6 outplacement schools. We're still utilizing 4 vans to transport those students. Our percent of special education is at 26.35%. We're still recruiting for a high school special education teacher as well as a district-wide school psychologist. To date, we've had 20 new referrals to special education. Threat assessments, we've had 4 to date, 1 resulting in a risk assessment. CT SEDS is down, which is a good thing. Last month they were at 258 open special education teaching positions across the state. It's come down a bit to 206. In terms of the excess costs, and I know there was some questions about that, so I'm happy to try and answer those. But my executive administrative assistant, Mrs. LeVake, had completed the special education excess cost grant, which is the collection of information for that grant, tuition, transportation, related services, ESY consideration. So that was submitted. The excess cost threshold, so last year it was 104,243. This year it's up to 119,140. So essentially, if you take the per pupil expenditure, both gen ed and special ed, the average, it comes out to 26,476. And you multiply that by 4.5, that'll give you the threshold, which again is 119,140. The percent of anything over that percent has not been released yet. That's not until January. Last year, that percent was 62.02%. And then this year and next year, they have a new lower threshold. And essentially what that is, so if you had a student that was outplaced and you brought them back into the district, so not using the Bradley program that we have on site, directly into Thompson with our own special education services, no third party, no, contracted services such as an RBT or a BCBA, just our staff as support. Rather than the 4.5%, it would be 3%. So that number from, being 119,000 would be 79,426. The issue is you'd really need to have, for example, your own in-house program similar to Bradley that would have the clinical support, behavior modification, students that need other related services, speech, OT, PT, counseling, those type of services that would add up and hit that threshold. And we're not a district that has that. But I just wanted you to be aware that is something that's for this year and next year.
Kathleen, if I may.
Okay. Yep.
Yep, thank you. So and I just pulled some quick numbers before I came tonight. In March of 23, we were 14 out of 169. In March of 24, we were 16 out of 169. We are now 40th out of 169. Our percentage hasn't changed that much in either direction, right? We've been between 24 and 27% of our total population. Does anybody else see the potential red herring in the room on this one? We got moved down 25 places on the list, which means there's 25 districts that have a higher need than us, and they haven't let the excess cost percentage out yet. There's only a certain pool of money in the state.
That's right.
Which means to me, this means we're about to, pardon my French, get screwed on excess cost grant money this year.
May I? We already get pretty well hosed. But how many, Dr. Jones, how many students do we have that qualify for getting excess cost grant? The money is, you're talking $40,000 and then another 40,000 maybe later, ballpark. I mean, how many students are there that meet the threshold?
It's between 3 and 5.
I really think we're fighting over pennies, and it's really ridiculous, and it's really got to stop. And not that anybody here is arguing with me on that. It's just talking to hear myself heard, and it's ridiculous.
You're absolutely right because you're absolutely right because again, even those children that do exceed that threshold, it's not by a lot, given that that's a big amount of money, 119,000. So those that do exceed that, again, it's going to be a percent of anything over that amount. And again, last year it was 62%. And if we're just going to follow the trend, it seems to be dropping each year, the percent that you get back.
So to Justin's point, whether we're second or 20th, we'll get 40,000 or 20,000. At that point, it really doesn't matter, and we need it all. And.
Yeah, but I beg to differ between 40,000 and
Well,
20,000 doesn't matter.
It does.
20,000 coming out of our budget means
Yeah.
we lose
No,
early intervention
I
and tutoring
understand
after
that
school,
too.
like.
But
Every penny in this district, the way we are with our budget, every penny.
I agree on that, but on the bigger picture, from the state level, it's just ridiculous, and basically the solution is money's gotta follow the student.
Correct.
And if, I'm not running for state legislature or governor or anything, but the money's gotta follow the student, and we need to figure out how to get the state to do that, and it's not gonna come from little old Thompson.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
my point in the room
Yes,
was,
I-
whether it's two payments of 40,000, meaning 80,000. With where we are on the list and the amount of need that appears to be coming in Connecticut. That reimbursement this year could be 20% instead of
Yes.
60%.
Yes.
And we could be on the hook for an extra 60 to 70 to $80,000.
Right.
Right.
All I wanna make sure that
Right,
we have.
and the sad part is, the state has the money to pay all of this stuff, and if all of our legislators had fought half as hard as they did for all these stupid SNAP benefits over the last month, we would be fully funded.
Yep.
But yet they pick and choose their battles, and education is not a priority with any of them. And it's just sad, and maybe it's time for me to get off this board, but it's just sad the way that Connecticut treats the schools.
And it seems to me they're actually making it more of the town's problem by just what Dr. Jones just said, that they're lowering it, but they want you to do more in-house stuff.
Yeah.
They'll
Right.
cut it if you do more in-house stuff. So they want you to stack up now your staff, add in
Right.
these CPAs,
The little
OTs,
towns
where you're
can't
gonna
have all
find,
Correct.
And there aren't
It-
people, so I'm sorry.
right, so it seems like that's the direction the state's going in, that it's more of, it's gonna be the towns. So do we start having to look into bringing in, to offset, I don't know, but that seems like that's the direction the state's going in. That they're gonna reward you by you bringing on more staff.
And
Yeah.
developing your own
Programs,
programs,
yeah.
which we have done with our autistic program at
Mhm.
Mary R. Fisher, and so we have done that. But bringing in new programs when there's just no
Right.
funding for that
Yeah,
is going to be problematic.
yeah, because that definitely seems like that's the direction the state's going in.
There's an incentive to growing your own. That's
Right.
what they're looking at, but they're
Right.
not looking at Bradley being one of them.
Then,
Right, so.
Correct.
So we won't have the money to hire all these specialists. And from what Dr. Jones says every month, there's such a demand in the state, we couldn't even get one if we wanted
Mhm.
them. So
Correct.
it's, it's
Right.
just, it's the state playing games on top of screwing us. It's the state playing games on top of that, and it's unacceptable. And I don't know. I'd like to know how we just deal with the state on this, and I don't have an answer. And Bill, after 24 years, he doesn't have an answer, and it's just, it's, if it was a matter of just not paying state taxes to just not give them the money, then you get thrown in jail. I'd rather not that happen. It just, I'm beyond frustrated with this, and everybody is, I know everybody is, and
Yeah,
But I just think we need to be aware of and quickly understand what that reimbursement percentage is gonna be. And if we're starting to hear rumors that it's gonna be lower, I just.
Yeah.
We're gonna need to know what that number is gonna be, because whether it's
We won't know.
40,000 or 80,000.
Yeah,
We won't know till January, but when that January number hits, I think it's important that we understand what that impact is, because I think we were planning in the 60s.
As soon as I know, Justin, I will certainly let you know, and I'll have an idea of what, the reimbursement will look like at that time.
Thank you, Dr. Jones. I was just conferring with Mr. Steglitz. I think we were getting for that reimbursement rate to be in the 60s was our original plan.
Right.
Last year, so we went. With
I
last.
just don't know how that pendulum just swung like that, knowing what they know.
Well, I
you
think
know?
it's
Yeah.
the red light, flashing light to me was that we went from 14th to 40th.
Mhm. The need's there.
That's got alarm bells
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah,
And the state claiming a $435 million surplus.
right. That you're in 40th and you have a 26%
Right.
population.
Right.
So I mean, the red flags are there.
It's scary.
Yeah. What are those other districts at? 40, 50%, you know?
So a question for you again, Dr. Jones.
Sure.
Is it, I'm not asking you to like rat anybody out. Is it possible that other towns have suddenly discovered more special ed and say, oh, well, we better classify them that they didn't have, or they're classifying people that weren't classified before? I'm not saying yeah, it just seems weird that we, like Justin said, we went from percentage, this is based on percentages, went from 14th to 40th. It seems like, you know, I know there's problems, I know there's need in the state, but it seems like an awful big drop.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously it's not, you know, we're not trying to get an award here for having the,
No.
you know, the percent that we're, you know, that we're
Yeah.
justifying. But I mean, these other districts have, you know, obviously their qualifications have gone up. The numbers have increased in the other districts. And I can certainly put a list together, but I don't know what their, you know, total student population looks like in comparison to Thompson unless I, you know, really delve down deep into it. But I mean, I was surprised when I saw it as well. It was a big drop.
But also let's compound that with the fact that we have robust RTI, response to intervention, going on. We have language-based classrooms where we're supporting students with dyslexia without an IEP, right? So start to think about that. We're starting to reduce our number of students that have an identified disability because we figured out along the way how to better support them in the gen ed realm. And so that's also going to cause our number to come down. So it's a combination of a lot of variables, but the better we are at intervention is going to reduce the number of students with a diagnosed disability, which is what we're supposed to be doing, right? But it has an adverse effect on us because the lower we get on that list, the way the money's sliced and diced, it could very well shoot us in the foot along the way. But
Linda, I guess that was my concern, right? Percentage wise, we haven't moved much. On the overall list in the state, we moved a lot.
right,
So
right.
I agree, we're doing a great job with dyslexia and all, and bringing all that in-house without IEPs, it's great. But where we sit on that list and the fact that it's now clear that there's a higher need in this state, and that excess cost grant pool is just gonna go down.
I
we just need
agree
to be
with you
prepared
there.
for it.
I agree with you there. I don't know how to fix it, except that we just need to continue to tell the legislative body our concerns and hope that there's enough pressure to move things. They made some movement. We got a little seed grant this year, that $60,000 we're getting for new programs or new staff. Remember, we cut a high school special ed teacher. It's having a significant impact on the high school. So we're taking that 60,000 and we're hiring for that position because we just need it back. The teacher's drowning up there, so.
I read Kristen's letter and it was a very good letter, and we all need to start that letter campaign.
I think we're getting with other boards too. I think that's great.
That's more important than writing individual letters.
We need to make a wave of the boards.
Letters, emails, I mean, we just need to bombard our legislature.
We get a new governor
Yeah,
next year. Well,
okay. Thank you, Dr. Jones.
Oh, you're more than welcome. And just lastly, I just wanted to also thank Mrs. Carlson, Mr. Angelo, Mr. Wachowski for all of the years of service and support, and just wishing you all the best in all your future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jones.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any old business they want to bring up?
Kathleen,
Yes,
The email request that I sent in regards to the bullying data specifically in the middle school. Have we gotten a breakdown on the? Like what the actual reports were of?
Oh, yeah, well, that hasn't been done yet, huh? We did get the quarterly reports,
Correct.
right, but they were
I don't
not,
know specifically what exactly.
So my concern is we started off the year none. Last month was 11, this next month is 18. So
And I-
like we're doubling. I understand some of it can be tied to the time of the year, but that can't be all of it. So it'd be nice to be able to see what the pattern of reports are. Is it specific to certain types of behavior that's occurring or those kind of things? So that's something that could be addressed.
I will look into what it looks like, and if I can give it to you in generalities, I will.
Yes, that's like, I don't need names, I don't need. But just to get some sort of an idea, because we're not seeing that in in the elementary or the high school. So it's definitely middle school driven, and it would be nice to be able to understand what's driving it.
Okay.
Well, the same thing happened last year on a smaller scale.
Right, a much smaller scale, the numbers almost doubled in a month's time, that's.
Mm.
And to find none of them actually founded is a little concerning. As a parent of a kid in the middle school, like. Out of those, you're telling me absolutely none of them were founded? To me, that's a little.
I'm gonna push
Yeah.
back a little on that because I
That's-
know the
yep.
level of investigation that the two principals do when a bullying report is brought forward. And believe me, there's copious notes, copious investigation. But if I can get you in generalities what the behaviors are, I can't give you specifics because clearly it's tied to FERPA. But I can certainly get that for you, but I will tell you that the investigation work that's done at the middle level is probably the best procedures we have in the district. Where there's complete follow through, documentation, good reports. But if there's a specific behavior, then they're addressing that through PBIS, I'm assuming, but I'll double check.
So being on the receiving
I'll
end.
put it in my briefs on Friday.
Being on the receiving end of a bullying incident, I would agree with Melinda in that the investigation is extremely thorough and the report that's produced is extremely thorough.
So I have an opposite feeling of that from when my oldest was in the middle school and she was on the receiving end. So I feel differently, and I know that there is chatter of other people feeling differently, so it's something that's worth looking into, in my personal opinion.
Okay.
And I think Melinda, maybe some of the policy around that might need to be reviewed. Because I think some of the policy is not. I believe bullying, the definition, the way we have it in the policy is a pattern. And I think a lot of the if you will, unfoundedness of the bullying is that there is no pattern that was formed. And therefore it is not considered a bullying incident. I don't want to assume what those 18 were, but I do know that when I reviewed the policy on my own side, that it was the pattern
The
piece.
new legal definition was that it didn't have to be a pattern anymore.
But I believe our policy, the way the policy is written, still says pattern.
Look into that.
Our policy was just updated last year.
Yeah, and
It still says.
So
I think
if,
no, go ahead.
so if a parent reports bullying, they get a report back that it's unfounded?
So parent will put in a formal complaint.
Yeah,
An investigation is done.
yeah,
A report is generated from that.
Yeah.
And letting them know, was it a case of bullying? Sometimes it dies on the vine because it's simply, the parent doesn't want to go down the formal
yeah.
investigation report, but 18 times last month, a student or a parent brought forward a complaint of bullying.
Yeah.
And then it was investigated. And I asked that question this morning in a meeting, and more or less what you asked, right?
Right.
And that was the answer I received. I did not ask the question, what were the types of behaviors? A lot of it is verbal stuff and, throwing a pencil and those kinds of things. But I can find out if it's physical, verbal aggression.
I just think maybe it might be the delivery aspect of it. So if you really believe something happened to your child and then you're told it's unfounded, but your child's visibly upset, there is something there. So I don't know if maybe that it's the going from the report to the parent. Maybe it's just not delivered in a way, or maybe wording needs to be different of, because everybody's perception of the situation is different. So I worry on the parent's end that might be the uproar that I don't know any of this, but as a parent, if I'm really upset that I feel like my kid was, bullied and they're upset about something, and then they feel like their feelings are unfounded, so I don't know if there's a way that we're passing this information on in a sympathetic way.
When a full
Yeah.
bullying investigation is completed,
Yeah.
at the end of that, there is recommendations and what has happened.
Yeah.
And all party members understand what has happened.
Yeah.
But if a full bullying investigation isn't completed, out of that 18, a full bullying investigation wasn't done for every single one of them where we had, it might just be an incident report
Right.
because it's a minor issue.
Right.
But at the end of those reports, there's
Yeah.
always a recommendation, and what the administrative did to address the bullying issue.
Okay.
So, Melinda, I think there's two pieces to this. The first piece is, what are the parents, students expecting for an outcome?
Mm.
The second piece of this is, although it might be an unfounded bullying incident, that doesn't mean that the aggressor did not get disciplined for their action. I think that is a fair statement.
So we never discuss discipline with the other parent.
Yep.
This is where you need to trust that the administrative team has taken it seriously and has addressed it with that student and that student's parents. I can tell you there is what the consequence is. Obviously, I can't talk to even you about it.
Right.
But there is always a consequence. Suspending a kid isn't always the right approach. It's better that the student meet regularly with the school counselor and learn strategies to not have an aggressive outburst or call people names. So at middle school, it's a big teaching moment in grades 5 through 8. Kids are learning how to be navigate socially. And so we're going to see all of our bullying issues come about at that middle school level. When there's a bullying situation at the high school, quite honestly, that becomes a more in-depth investigation, because now students have learned through that process and really should be responsible for their behavior. And so that takes a different twist. But at the middle level, grades 5 through 8, they're learning how to interact socially. And so I think the team does a good job. Specifically, I can't tell you off the top of my head what the 18 issues were, but I can definitely, in generalities, figure out what it is, and then what are they doing just school-wide to address those kinds of issues. I think that's the best
Maybe-
thing, and it goes back to that climate and culture whole thing, because that's the point.
Maybe the answer to that is, there were 18 bullying incidents. Of the 18 bullying incidents, how many of them had consequences that came out? I think that's a general question that can be answered.
That I'll have to get legal counsel on, because I'm concerned about that type of data being reported.
I'm not asking for that to be reported in a report. I guess what I'm saying is, of the incidents, what is the percentage of consequences that come out of the complaints, right? I think that's a fair and general statement we can make. Of the 18 bullying incidents, 100% of the aggressors had consequences. Whether that was counseling, whether that was suspension, whether that was whatever, I don't necessarily need to know that, but I think getting that message across that we didn't just ignore the fact that a report came in on bullying. We investigated it, there were consequences, we moved on.
Correct. And then via the grapevine, the parents will disagree with the consequence and then call back the school, right? And so, no one knows what the consequence is, and if it's an in-house suspension, what that's all about. You know, did the student have to get referred to counseling? I mean, there's a lot of arms and legs to a consequence. But often, if a parent is having an issue and they expect, and they've got to trust that we followed through and the student was consequenced and the other family is informed, most often via the rumor mill, people don't agree with the consequence that was given, or it's a rumor and they don't even know what the consequence is. And so then that causes another area of angst. I think we do a really good job, but I can certainly find out of all of those incidents last month where we fell out.
And is there like follow-up with the families, you know?
There
just-
absolutely is.
There is, yeah.
There absolutely is.
Yeah.
Like after the incident's closed, you know, how's Joe doing, you know, just checking in, you know.
That's why we have guidance counselors.
Yes, yeah, so maybe, no. We, yeah. I just, for it to be spilling out onto social media, there's definitely something that needs to be addressed, because, you know, there's a call for it, so we need to address it and take care of it, and, you know.
It's never gonna go away.
It won't,
Away.
no, but
Because that's how kids learn to navigate.
it's true, but, you know.
Sad but true, yes. Are we ready to move on? And we are going to,
Nope, let's move on.
Go, go, go.
okay. We have some correspondence. We
New business.
directed, last month, we directed Melinda to write to the Department of Education. And she did, and we got a letter back from Charlene Russell Tucker, who is the Commissioner of Education. Wasn't what we hoped for, but at least she responded.
She did. We can't change legislation, and that's really what we're asking her to do. But
Right.
I will say that we've only got another year and we'll be out of that designation, so.
Opportunity District.
Correct.
And that gives us the opportunity to be a school of choice for those of schools that send their students that have no high schools. So that would be good. And then we got another one from Elizabeth Goldsmith, thanking us for attending candidates nights, for participating, our new board members for participating in candidate night, which is something that I think is really useful and wonderful that our town does this, and that they sponsor that Thompson Together sponsors this event and gives us an opportunity to meet the candidates and hear from the candidates. So it's a great very good organization, and I fully support them, and they also help with Community Day and do a lot of good things for the town of Thompson. Next up is citizens' comments. I have a comment that I neglected to do at my chairman's update. I also want to thank Bill Wachowski for his 24 years on the Board of Education. Tom Angelo for your 18 years of service to the Board of Education. And sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. Ms. Carlson for your 6 years. Danielle Carlson for her 6 years on the Board of Education. I told you didn't want me to be with you tonight, but I'm sorry I'm not there in person to say goodbye to you personally.
Thank you.
I know you will still be in town. Bill will be on the building committee. Tom, you'll be on the Turtle Lot Trust and the building committee. And Danielle, I hope to see you possibly back on the Board of Education or some other committee. We'll
We shall-
rope you in again.
There's one, those
But
back-
thank you all very much. It's been a pleasure to serve with all of you.
I just heard that.
I just want to say one thing, Kathleen.
Yes.
It's been an honor and a privilege, obviously, to serve the townspeople of Thompson. Being a graduate of the high school from class of '86, but going back generations with my father. Back to back state champions in basketball in the 50s, 49, 50, 51. But I was doing some math and I had mentioned to our new board members that I know my family with the Robbins family, we've had or held a seat here for almost 7 decades. Wow. And Bill's family, I would imagine, is pretty close to that as well.
My father was on the board 26 years before I got here.
Yeah, so there's a lot of history and, you know, like I just said, it's I commend all of you for doing what you're doing. There's a lot of thankless people out there that don't realize the commitment. I think I would just say to you all is don't get tied up in the social media web of answering or replying. In addition to that, I would also just say that try to make sure that you maintain a safe professional learning experience for our staff and students. And always try to make the right decision, even though it might not be fiscally responsible in some people's eyes, just do the right thing. And the only other thing I will say is forget about your political party. This board has never been about a political party. That's one of the things that I think really where we strive better than most towns. So thank you for the town of Thompson, to all the taxpayers, and I wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Bill.
Nice.
Thank you, Danielle.
Can I speak to real quick? Thank you for this experience. It's been great and I'm excited to participate in different ways. I obviously want to stay involved with the school and with my community or my communications committee crew in any way I can and help out with project POG and sitting on the panel. That was really cool. And I'd love to do that again. So I'll still be a face, but just in a different way. Life just has me going in different directions. So this has been great. And I thank you all. And then my advice for the new board members is just keep an open mind. You're going to think going into a situation maybe one way, but just always have an open mind because there's so much that you're going to learn in these 6 years that that's it's just gonna be a lot. So just keep that open mind. Keep the open mind. It's gonna be a lot. And this winter, you're gonna be in a meeting every week. So, all right. But thank you all.
Thank you.
Come on, you need, Mr. Bukowski, you need words of wisdom.
I'm gonna miss this. I'm gonna miss you all. We've done a lot of good things over the time I've been here, from the early education to privatizing buses, hiring Bill Birch, getting Melinda on board. We've done a lot of great things. I've worked with a lot of great board members. I've worked with a lot of lousy board members. Right? But we're all here for the kids, and I've always been here for the kids and for the staff. They're the teachers, the secretaries, the custodians, they're just as important as anybody else in the building, and I've always tried to advocate for all of them. They're not our enemies, they're our allies in this whole thing. And you know, I'm gonna miss it, but I'm gonna still be on the board, but I want to thank Danielle because she's been here almost as long as me, and she's always that steady hand that's always here. So
I'll see you Wednesday.
But I'll see you on Wednesday.
I would like to add though is that we probably do a quarterly report from the Turtle Lot Trust. As the president, I feel that I have not given you the adequate response updates. So let's get the board Turtle Lot trustees on there at least once a quarter. How's that?
Can't stay away. Can't do it.
It's right there, man. I'm in charge of how many millions. I've gotta do something.
I don't know anything about it, so yeah, it'd be great to hear.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's busy.
We get to keep our name black?
Yes, you do.
Hell
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn?
Okay.
With. Yeah.
Oh, any other citizens' comments?
Well, there's more for you.
Citizens, no more.
No more?
No.
Okay, then motion to adjourn.
Second.
We're out of here.
Aye.
And that's the wrap, folks.